chicken fingers and fries. Oh, this is gonna be good. Oh, hey, chicken fingers and fries night. I always look forward to this every year. And, I'm hungry, got the old rumbling tum, and looking forward to getting in there. Hello? Thought it was tonight, usually the first Friday of every June. Okay, well, I'm gonna see if I can get in on the other side maybe and see what happens. Okay. Well, it didn't work to get into the front. Maybe I can try this door. Maybe someone let me in here. And,
hello?
Hi, I'm here for the chicken fingers and fries.
This is CMU hosting.
Oh, hi.
What are you doing here?
I'm here for the chicken fingers and fries dinner.
You're not allowed to go in through that way. Yeah,
Okay.
we kind of closed that side of the door now.
Okay. Is the event happening at all, do you know?
There isn't much happening anymore here, so.
Okay, well.
Hate to break it to you.
Okay, well, what can you do? And you're in hosting?
Yeah.
Aren't you Inda?
I'm Inda.
You're also the student council president, right?
I was until lately.
Okay, your term ended?
Yes, my term ended. Okay. I'm happy to give it to Natasha.
Okay, awesome. Well, and I understand you're also an international student, is that right?
Yeah, I'm an international student from Albania.
Okay, so what's that whole experience been like since the COVID-19 pandemic started? Your experience been like here at CMU as an international student?
It's been very colorful, to say the least. At first, it felt really unbelievable, and maybe like it felt like an action movie. You were in one of those movies where everything is just happening, and then you realize, people are leaving, and there is nobody around, and you had to live through that and worry about your family and where they are. So yeah, it's just been a learning curve for all of us, I guess, here.
Okay. Well, and I understand there's some things that the student council was doing to help international students. Can you tell me a little bit about that? Yeah,
for sure. By the middle of April, if I am not mistaken, we came together as student council and decided to give around $5,000 of a budget to help our students during the pandemic. One of the ways we thought was best was to buy gift cards from Superstore and Safeway and to give those out without asking questions, because it might be hard for people to state in what situation they're in. And we've used quite a lot of it. We've used around 1,500 so far, and we're hoping to use 1,000 just for people who apply for maybe harder situations than we expect. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's awesome. And what's up for you for this coming summer?
Well, I am still a host, which is pretty awesome. I've learned how to take care of these buildings, even though they look dead. There's a lot of life going on here. Okay. And I'm hoping to do my practicum soon enough, so that's interesting as well.
Okay, what are you doing for that?
Well, I'm not quite sure right now as to how my practicum will go, but I just got my papers from the government, which is a great start. I can't really do my practicum unless I have my co-op, and I'm hoping to fix my schedule, so that's all I know for now.
Okay, well, Inda, I'm disappointed that there's no chicken fingers and fries tonight, but it was lovely to meet you, so okay. Thanks for your time.
Now that you know me, I can get you on the back door. Thank you so much for the interview. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Nice meeting you.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? For Canadian Mennonite University, I'm Aaron Epp, and you're watching Hot Ones. It's the show with hot questions and even hotter chicken McNuggets. And today we're joined by Chris Hübner. You may know Chris as the person who taught you philosophy and theology when you were here at CMU. If you weren't in his classroom, then you remember him as the guy who sneered at you from across the Great Hall that one time you dared to look at him. Chris is the author of a new book, Suffering the Truth. It's a collection of sermons and reflections on the liturgical calendar, and it's available now from CMU Press. Chris, welcome to the show.
Good to see you, Aaron.
How are you feeling going into this? How do you do with spicy food?
I am nervous, I will tell you that much. I think of myself as someone who can handle it, but I'm sure you're going to prove me that I'm wrong.
Okay, well, this is the first time for both of us. We have 5 different hot sauces that I found at Sobeys this morning. We'll start with the most mild, working our way up to the hottest, and with each one, I have a different question for you. And we couldn't find chicken fingers, unfortunately, so we'll have to settle for some delicious chicken McNuggets. So,
Are the questions thematically tied to the hot factor?
no, there is a bit of an order. They get probably easier to answer
good.
the farther we
Good.
go, but I mean, even that's subjective. So, yeah, but whenever you're ready, we can dig into the first one, to Chipotle, pardon me.
All right. Good amount on here.
Yeah, nice.
Oh boy. This is going to get interesting.
So it seems that theology is a bit of a family business for the Hübners. Your father teaches philosophy and theology at CMU, or he did. You teach philosophy and theology here. Which of your 2 sons do you think is most likely to earn a PhD, come teach here, and make it a 3-peat? Or a 3-Hube, if you will?
My son Jonah insists that he is the one
Okay.
to carry forward the family tradition, so to speak, but we'll see. He also wants to be a cop and a lawyer and just about anything on any given day.
Okay, fair enough. Wow.
But I should say that I had no intentions, so it could be the wild card, maybe Marcus, the youngest, who comes across as the least cerebral of the Hübner kids.
Okay. Excellent. Let's move on to our next
Easy.
nugget. And we have some habanero. All right, well, this coming July marks the 10th anniversary of Hot Pursuit.
Yes.
That was an epic bicycle journey that saw you and a small team of others from CMU race against cycling philanthropist Arvid Lowen, all the way from White Rock, BC to Winnipeg, Manitoba. When you look back on Hot Pursuit, what sticks out for you?
It was just so much fun. And so surreal. Maybe just the support that we had, right? I mean, the 5 of us who were riding, all we had to do was pedal a bike half an hour at a time on a kind of a cycle. And then we got to hang out in an RV and eat like crazy and try to sleep, which wasn't very easy. And we just got so lucky with good weather conditions, wind at our back, and it was a lot easier and more fun than any of us thought. So it was fun. Never want to do it again, but fun. And the time you broke the table in the RV, that sticks out.
I don't remember that.
You don't remember that?
No.
It happened.
Okay.
It was flimsy.
Maybe
It was
we'll
an
leave it at
RV,
that.
right? And particle board, probably
Yeah.
nailed together with staples. And it was not Aaron Epp rated.
Not quite sturdy enough. All right. Awesome. That was a fun trip. Yeah, hard to believe it's been 10 years.
I know.
Wow.
There's always talk about another edition, but if it didn't happen in 2020, I don't think it'll ever happen.
2030 maybe. Who knows? I should mention we have some water and some chocolate milk here, so
Yes.
feel free to. I already need it for sure. But we are on to
So far,
nugget,
so good. 40%.
nugget number 3, the Scotch bonnet
Sounds
flavor
like a
here.
euphemism. Oh, that was not very hot.
Not at all.
That should have been first. Although they'll get you, they'll surprise you.
Yeah. Okay, Chris, we have a recurring segment on our show called Explain That Video, where we show the guest a clip of a video from sometime in their past, in this case, 2005. And we ask them to talk a little bit about it, sort of give the bigger context, share what they remember, that sort of thing. Does that sound good to you?
That sounds great.
Okay.
I feel like I'm Michael Jordan watching those videos in The Last Dance.
Tablet, please. Thank you. Yeah, that's exactly what we were thinking when we came up with this. So, yeah, I'll give you the tablet here, and you can take a look.
Just
It's on the top.
Yeah, there it is.
Campus, about to go to one of our favorite classes
Philosophy.
with one of our favorite professors, Dr. Chris Hübner.
And we love Chris. The one thing about him is he dumbs it down for you. He really makes it simple and easy to understand.
Like I'm by no means a smart person. I'll admit it. I'll be the first to admit it.
Well,
But
yeah, I'll be the second.
but I mean that doesn't matter when I step into Chris's class because he makes everyone feel smart. Mike and Aaron, you're smart. In effect, that's what he's doing in his lecture. We feel it.
Ontology, the thought of being as inherently violent, because it totalizes the other and thereby doesn't allow for any space in which the otherness of the other can exist as other. And of course, we've seen that Derrida wants to resist the assumption that we can ever have a kind of unmediated access to the other as such.
That was pretty simple.
Say more. What comes to mind when you see any of that? What, thoughts, feelings, discuss.
I always say to students that Derrida is one of those guys who sounds really complicated but only has one thing that he ever says, and he just says it in different ways all the time. And usually by the end of it, by the end of a month of kind of wading through texts, they get it. But you got to go through the pain of his wordiness, of his almost his kind of like linguistic gamesmanship, right, in order to get there. But yeah, you guys are funny.
Well, and it's a little hard to see on the video, but you had your hand was in a cast.
Oh, was that the year I broke my thumb?
Yeah, you had that green cast. Yeah. Was there a story there?
There's a
If
great
not,
story
then,
there. There's a very good story. It's the first bone I ever broke. You can see it's really fat right there. It was on my birthday, so I guess 2005. I was rushing home from probably a meeting or a late class or something like that. And as far as I knew, there was a birthday celebration, and I was late. And I was, you know how all accidents happen really close to home? Well, last turn before my street, I took it too fast. It was winter, February, and I wiped out on some ice and went down, and my hand drilled into the stem of the bike. I'm like, ooh, that hurt. But no problem. I went home and had the meal. Everything was fine. It was kind of a big day because after the meal, there was a Duke Carolina game, which I always watch, and Duke won, if I recall. And then I had to finish up writing a self-evaluation for my tenure application. And by then, my hand was killing me. Of course, I put it off. I didn't start this thing until 11 o'clock. I got tenure. I think I was up till 3 finishing this thing off. And went to bed, and I woke up the next morning, and my thumb and my whole arm, and it was radiating up here. It just hurt like crazy. I was giving a test the next morning in a class, and like I can't go to this test, so I figured, got somebody to invigilate is the fancy word. And I went to the doctor, got x-rays, and the bone down here basically split in half and was separated, and it never really came together, but it's 15 years on, it doesn't hurt that much anymore. But on a cold day, it still does.
Wow. All right. Well, let's move on with that to number 4.
All right.
I'm not sure how to say this, Jalakia Ghost.
I'm sure that's not the right way to pronounce it. Mental hot sauce.
Here's what I found.
Oh, I got a little bit of a piquant thing in my throat.
Whew.
I would say not bad.
It's not bad, but
Your first one was almost the hottest.
yeah. Speaking of Duke, you graduated with a PhD in theology and ethics from Duke University, where the legendary Stanley Hauerwas, the man Time magazine once called America's best theologian, was your advisor. What's something that most people don't know about Stanley Hauerwas?
Oh, that's a great question. Everybody thinks they know Stanley Hauerwas, and they're usually almost always wrong. He's far more gentle and romantic than the crass, foul-mouthed Texan that he comes across as, and that he frankly cultivates, or used to. I don't think he does so much anymore. Get him talking about his cats, and you'll see that this man has a heart and a level of empathy that doesn't always come across when he's cussing out his kind of theological opponents. I miss him. Thanks for reminding me.
Awesome. Well, that brings us to our last nugget. My mouth is on fire. And that wasn't even that bad, but let's try Scorpion.
Demented.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
I think Siri was listening.
Is that my phone?
I think that's your phone.
Oh, jeez. I thought it was your mic.
Classic celebrity move. Not turning off their phone.
I never use Siri. Okay, I need more hot sauce. That threw me off.
I think that one takes a while.
Yeah, here it comes.
Yeah. Well, you've made it this far. Simple question. Chris K. Hübner, what does the K stand for?
That's a trick question, because it could kind of stand for two things. My wife's name is Clausen, Rachel Clausen, but we were too lazy to do anything when we got married about names. And I think of it as Chris Clausen Hübner, but officially it can't be because we were too lazy and we didn't do anything. But conveniently, my middle name is Kennedy, so it works as it's not getting me any legal trouble if I use it. So have it your way, but I'll say Clausen.
Okay, is there a story behind Kennedy? That's an interesting
You'd have to
middle
ask
name.
my folks.
Okay.
But let's just say I was born in the 60s, kind of the Kennedy era.
Right.
That was a hot one.
Well, Chris Hübner, you made it. 5 up, 5 down. You ran the race.
Ran the table.
You ran through the gauntlet. You made it up the mountain.
And my nose is running.
There's nothing left to do but roll out the red carpet for you, my friend. That camera, or that camera, or that camera. Tell the people what you have going on in your life.
Well, I say to a lot of people lately that faculty life or professor life in summer is pretty pandemic friendly. So I'm hanging out, trying to write another book, and spending as much time as I can in front of my computer in my office, feeling actually pretty good about things. It's sort of like I feel like I'm on sabbatical. It's just me and the family, which is the way it feels when we're away. We don't have a social life, which I'm increasingly fine with by now. And so it's been very productive. I'm loving it.
Awesome. Thanks for being here.
Weren't we going to talk about my book?
That was your chance to plug it, but now we're done. Now we're done.
But I got this book. This, geez, I don't want to talk about it. You're supposed to ask me questions about it. So I got this new book. It's a book of sermons called Suffering the Truth, but the best part of it is this killer, oh, that sounds like a bad pun, killer cover, because it's not a whale, because my son Jonah, who read the Jonah story early on and realized that there's no reference to a whale in the Jonah story, it drives him crazy when people make whale references. It's not a whale, it's a big fish. So it doesn't, so killer whale was not at all intended. It has a killer photo of this fish pulpit, or Jonah pulpit, as I like to think of it, which is a pulpit unlike any that I've ever preached on. But if you go to Poland or the Czech Republic or parts of Austria and Croatia, you can find these pulpits in churches there, and you're kind of, your head's poking out of the mouth of this huge fish like you're getting vomited out, as Jonah does at the end of the story. And since I preach in Mennonite churches, it's usually a music stand, which is kind of like, going progressively down as you're gonna keep pulling it up. So it's a book of sermons and addresses, chapel talks at CMU, and I thought it'd be kind of fun to throw them all together, and I found a way to string them together that made sense to me. They all tend to be on what other traditions would call the High Holy Days. So Good Friday and Epiphany, and it sort of just happened to be that that's when I get asked to say something. So I arranged it by the liturgical year, and they're good. Buy them, read them. Sermons are great.
Awesome. Commonword.ca. Thanks again, Chris.
Go there.
Let's go back, let's go back.
Oh, hey, thought I would just see if Marilyn's around. Maybe, yeah, always nice to see her. Gone home. Well, I found Marilyn Peters-Cleaver here in her backyard in Charleswood. And Marilyn, hi, great to see you.
It's great to see you too, Aaron.
How have you been doing?
Well, great. You know, living through COVID and trying to survive and trying to help students to survive and looking forward to my retirement at the end of June.
Okay, yeah, you touched on a few things there I want to get more on. So how has student life sort of been responding to kind of the needs of students in the past 2.5, 3 months?
It's been a really difficult situation for many of our students, and also difficult for student life to know how to be most helpful in some of these situations. But right from the beginning, we had to ask a lot of our students to move off campus because we needed to social distance, so we had to make more room for our international students. As you can well imagine, many of our international students weren't able to go home, so we had to find additional apartments and places for them to be able to live throughout the rest of the school year. And then, once the end of April came, once again, many of the students couldn't go home. They also couldn't find work easily, and so CMU made a decision to decrease the rent so it'd be easier for people to be able to live on campus and hopefully still be able to return as students in September.
Okay. And just briefly, how would you describe maybe the mood that people have been feeling, whether it's staff or students, or as kind of you go through all of what you just described?
Well, it's really interesting. Even though it's really difficult and it's tough, it was tough for students that had to move home when they've been used to living independently or living with friends on campus and had to adjust to living in their parents' house again. There were other adjustments that people had to make just in relation to their job and work placements. But on the other hand, it was interesting how positive a lot of students just were. We thought that, I'm not denying that some of the things weren't very depressing. On the other hand, we've had great retention. People are eager to come back to school. So that's been a really positive thing.
Awesome. Wow. And among all this excitement, you're getting ready to retire, as you mentioned, after 34 years. At the end of June, you'll be done. It's really hard to imagine CMU without Marilyn Peters-Cleaver. Number one, who's going to get people to go to chapel, do you think, now?
Well, I really hope that people still continue to go to chapel. I think it's a great central location for faculty, staff, and students. And I know I've walked down those hallways many a time, just calling people, encouraging them to be a part of chapel. And I've been mocked for that, but I hope that people will remember me for that as well.
So when you look back at 34 years, I realize that's quite a bit of time. But what's one or two things that sticks out for you?
Well, I think when I first started, I actually started in recruitment as an admissions counselor. My first trip was out to Ontario. I still am in contact with some of those students that I first recruited. They're now in their 50s and professionals, people who are professors in universities. And it's still kind of neat to just keep in touch with those kind of people who, you know, I was in my 20s when I first started there. And then later on, when moved into residence life together with Werner Cleaver, my husband, and we were co-directors for 13 years. And during that time, I was also the director of enrollment. But I loved being in that residence life program. And one of the stories I remember, I was in the residence in the lounge, and I don't know, we were kind of joking with these students, and they were joking and said, Marilyn, you're going to be here till you're 70. You're going to be running around with a cane, still laughing and talking to students. I thought that was kind of funny at the time, but now I thought maybe I should retire when I'm only 60 instead of reaching 70.
Wow. Well, that's quite a legacy you're leaving, and quite a run. So yeah. Incredible. Congratulations.
Thanks. I would just like to say a little bit about from 2000 was the year that CMBC then became CMU.
Right.
And that's been has been a great profession for me as well, to be Dean of Student Life. I really feel very privileged for having an opportunity to work with so many great faculty, so many great staff, so many great students. The students, I've really enjoyed developing and tapping people on the shoulders to develop their leadership skills. I feel so privileged to have had that opportunity. And I've also really enjoyed working with many volunteers. I've tapped many people on the shoulders to be our counselors, our academic support people to work on athletics, career advising, and I'm very grateful and thankful to all those people as well.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for your time, Marilyn. Thanks for having us in your backyard here, and all the best.
It's great, and I'm hoping that a lot of alumni, I'll have a lot of time. Werner and I will both be retired, and come visit. We've always enjoyed chatting with people, and you're welcome to come to our backyard as well. Hope to see you.
Hi, my name is Mike Wiebe, and I am a grad of CMU from 2015. I would love to play for you guys a song. It's called Names We Make, and it's from a new project I'm working on called Winter Hour, and we've just released an album called You Made a Shadow. So if you'd like to check it out, go to Spotify or iTunes, and if you'd like to give us a follow, check us out on Instagram at Winter Hour Music. So here is Names We Make.
I don't wanna see it, I don't wanna see it coming. An end to the giants, an end to the giants walking. Under limbs enfolding their spirits sweet in their cottonwood sleep. At night, these candle glasses stay warm to the touch. When we've sung all our anthems and leave this place behind, lost in love with 4-bar phrases, measuring our time. Making names we hold too closely, human and divine. I need you to feel it, I need you to feel the ringing. With tongues of flame around us, tongues of flame inside us bringing. Weathered hands anointing our naked feet in the fellowship sweet. At night, these candle glasses stay warm to the touch. When we've sung all our anthems and leave this place behind, lost in love with 4-bar phrases, measuring our time. Making names we hold too closely, human and divine. I need you to feel it, I need you to feel it. I need you to feel it. I need you to feel it. At night, these candle glasses stay warm to the touch. when we've sung our anthems and leave this place behind.
All right, well, that was some beautiful music from Mike Wiebe, and I just think it's fair to give maybe the faculty and staff a shot. So I think pretty soon we're going to see a video from the George Herberts, and here I am with Paul Dick, professor of English here at CMU, but also one of the lead singers of the George Herberts here in, I like to think of it as almost your bat cave or fortress of solitude, Spy Tower Press.
That's right. You're here in the Tower of Power.
Excellent.
The home of Spy Tower Press. Heavy metal.
I love it. I love it. So the George Herberts, for people who don't know, who are the George Herberts?
The George Herberts are a faculty staff band. They were originally inspired by a student group called Aaron and the Apostles, and their big hit straight out of North Kildonan, and the faculty just thought, hey, we've got to respond. We've got to, join our voices in song.
Okay, and do you remember what was the first song or two that the George Herberts performed?
Ever?
Yes.
Yeah, that's interesting because we actually existed prior to the name the George Herberts in various iterations, right? So I do remember with great fondness American Woman. And for a while there, my kids thought that we were the original singers of that. That was pretty awesome. But gee, I don't know. What did we do first as the George Herberts?
Was Joy to the World by Three Dog Night as well?
Yes.
Perhaps?
Yes. I think that was even prior to the name, though. So one of the things we did, boy, I just about had it there. One of the things that we did first as the George Herberts, and I'm speaking slowly in that professor voice while I try to remember. Right? You pretend you're pondering, but really you're just, stretching. What is that thing I'm trying to remember? Sorry, can't remember.
Amazing. So I remember the Joy to the World. I was a student at that point, before it was officially the George Herberts. Eventually, I worked here at CMU for a few years and got to be in the George Herberts.
Yes.
I was the rhythm guitar player. And then all of a sudden there was another George Herberts performance, but I wasn't involved. Like I was still on staff, but I hadn't gotten the call.
Right.
So I just wanted to clear the air here and see what happened.
I know. And the thing is, rock and roll is a tough business. And sometimes difficult choices need to be made. And, seems to me that maybe there's a wound here that needs to be addressed. I don't know. I don't know what to offer. What can I do to make it right?
You know what? I don't know either. But I'll give that some thought. And but I mean, it was fun while it lasted. So
Indeed.
So what can you tell me about what we're about to see? This video that we're about to see, the latest iteration of the George Herberts and this song.
Well, the first thing I could tell you is that actually, come to think of it, one of the first things we did under the name the George Herberts was Satisfaction. And that is in fact the song that we are going to play for you now. We've already played it in all these spots on campus, but it's now going to happen in a big way. So it's pretty awesome. It's by a very little known British band. I won't even tell you the name because you probably won't recognize it, but you might remember the tune.
All right, Paul Dick, thank you very much. And here's the George Herberts with Satisfaction.
Well, hey, 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 that's what I say. I can't get no, no, I can't get no. Well, I can't get no, no satisfaction, no satisfaction, no satisfaction, no satisfaction. Well, I can't get no.
Maybe they are better without me. All right, well, I seem to have wandered here in the Blah Rock, wanted to check out the Great Hall, and kind of came behind the counter where I was never a barista, but thought I would check it out anyway. And Cheryl's here. And Cheryl, what's new with CMU these days? How is the university responding to the pandemic? Is there any news? Yeah, what can you tell us?
Well, hey, so I'm here in the I'm here in the Blah Rock during this pandemic, and I come on campus once a week for an hour. And basically what we're doing these days is figuring out how we're going to share space. So there's a total of 3 people in here right now. We might maybe 7 or 8 during the year. What we're doing is designating every room. What's going to be a classroom, what will be a study space, what will be a gathering or social space where you'll eat. Every bit of campus will be used by students, by faculty and staff. We're keeping the buildings locked all year. We're all going to share together in health and safety, and we're setting up training times for how we walk down the hall and what kind of cleaning you do every time you're in a classroom, what kind of cleaning when you use the washrooms, and so on. So lots going on. It's great, though, that we're able to open up the campus for education in fall. This is a spacious campus, and so we're able to make that happen in health and safety ways. We've got students working with us so that it really is a community shared way of thinking about how we're going to behave on this campus together. And we're also developing lots of stuff with virtual learning so that we have a hybrid mixed mode going for people who can't come on campus, or if there's a second wave, then we can shift to virtual quickly. There's lots going on.
Okay, and what do you do during this time to sort of relax, or how are things going for you personally?
Hey, well, we're all cooped up at home. You know, we have a spacious enough house, but it's kind of open concept, so all of our noise is getting in each other's way. So we tell a lot of really bad jokes, like here we are, chicken fingers and fries, and how can we have chickens and fries when you can't have the good taste? Except you're all listening here because you have the good taste of listening to a bad pun. So we're doing stuff like that to get through the day, and we all kind of have to stay there so we're not running away. It's good.
Nice. I like to tell my wife dad jokes.
Yeah.
So anything you can do. Yeah.
Exactly.
Awesome. Anything else that people should know?
Hey, well, right now we're celebrating the great learning that's possible across the diversity of people that make up CMU, the people who trust each other well enough to want to learn and to share together in time and space and in the learnings that happen in and out of class. And so part of that diversity is a combination of domestic students from across the country and international students. You've heard a few stories tonight, I think, of some international students. Altogether, there are about 100 international students on campus. They come from 30 different countries. That's 5 continents. And so it's great to be able to share in learning together, in trying to catch on where people are coming from and how they express themselves, and find ways that, CMU can learn to be serious without being totally earnest all the time. And so we can kind of laugh at what we get and what we don't get about where we come from. And so it's great to have this opportunity to share in such a wonderful, diverse learning community. And grateful for the stories of you alumni lives and how where your lives go on continues to be part of what shapes CMU.
Great. Well, thank you, Cheryl. Always good to see you.
Hey, great to see you too, Aaron.
Well, This evening didn't end up being quite what I expected it to be. No chicken fingers and fries, but I did have a nice time revisiting different parts of campus, bumped into some interesting people along the way, got to eat some McNuggets, haven't done that in years, and yeah, learned a little bit about international students here at CMU. If you're interested in helping out international students at CMU, just check out the donation information on the CMU website, and hopefully next year we can get back to having chicken fingers and fries all together in person again. But until then, take care. Have a great summer.